Today is September 5th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Chapter 4, We Agnostics, by reading page 55. And out of the 12 and 12, we're going to continue Step 8 by reading page 81. And we will be reading today's daily reflection and 24 hours a day. So with that, my friends, we've been given a brand new set of 24 hours. Clean slate, another chance to right our wrongs and to work this program to the best of our ability. That is always a good thing. When we're alive, there's hope. And I guess that's what gives me a smile at about 3 a.m. So with that, my friends, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. Out of the Big Book, again, we're on Chapter 4. We're on page 55. Yet had we been seeing another kind of flight, a spiritual liberation from this world, people who rose above their problems, they said God made these things possible, and we only smiled. We had seen spiritual release, but liked to tell ourselves it wasn't true. Actually, we were fooling ourselves. For deep down in every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. It may be obscured by calamity, by pomp, by worship of other things, but in some form or another, it is there. For faith in a power greater than ourselves and miraculous demonstrations of that power in human lives are facts as old as man himself. We finally saw that faith in some kind of God was a part of our makeup, just as much as the feeling we have for a friend. Sometimes we had to search fearlessly, but he was there. He was as much a fact as we were. We found the great reality deep down within us. In the last analysis, it is only there that he may be found. It was so with us. We can only clear the ground a bit. If our testimony helps sweep away prejudice, enables you to think honestly, encourages you to search diligently within yourself, then if you wish, you can join us on the broad highway. With this attitude, you cannot fail. The consciousness of your belief is sure to come to you. In this book, you will read the experience of a man who thought that he was an atheist. His story is so interesting that some of it should be told now. His change of heart was dramatic, convincing, and moving. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Page 81. Such gross misbehavior is not by means a full catalog of harms that we do. Let us think of some of the subtler ones, which can sometimes be quite as damaging. Suppose that in our family lives we happen to be miserly, irresponsible, callous, or cold. Suppose that we are irritable, critical, impatient, and humorless. Suppose we have lavish attention upon one member of the family and neglect the others. What happens when we try to dominate the whole family, either by a rule of iron or by a constant outpour of minute directions for just how their lives should be lived from hour to hour? What happens when we wallow in depression, self-pity oozing from every pore, and inflict that upon those about us? Such a roster of harms done others, the kind that make daily living with us as practicing alcoholics difficult and often unbearable, could be extended almost indefinitely. When we take such personality traits as these in the shop, office, and the society of our fellows, they can do damage almost as extensive as that we have caused at home. Having carefully surveyed this whole area of human relations, and having decided exactly what personality traits in us injured and disturbed others, We can now commence to ransack memory for the people to whom we have given offense. To put a finger on the nearby and most deeply damaged ones shouldn't be hard to do. Then, as year by year we walk back through our lives as far as memory will reach, we shall be bound to construct a long list of people who have, to some extent or another, been affected. We should, of course, ponder and weigh each instance carefully. We shall want to hold ourselves to the course of admitting the things that we have done, meanwhile forgiving the wrongs done us, real or fancied. We should avoid extreme judgments, both of ourselves and of others involved. We must not exaggerate our defects or theirs. A quiet, objective view will be our steadfast aim. Whenever our pencil falters, we can fortify and cheer ourselves by remembering what AA experience in this step has meant to others. It is the beginning of the end of isolation from our fellows and from God. Daily Reflection, September 5th. Emotional balance. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 83. When I survey my drinking days, I recall many people whom my life touched casually, but whose days I troubled through my anger and sarcasm. These people are untraceable, and direct amends to them are not possible. The only amends I can make to those untraceable individuals, the only changes for the better that I can offer, are indirect amends made to other people, whose paths briefly cross mine. Courtesy and kindness, regularly practiced, help me to live in emotional balance, at peace with myself. "24 hours a day, September 5th. AA Thought for the Day. One of the mottos of AA is first things first. This means that we should always keep in mind that alcohol is our number one problem. We must never let any other problem, whether of family, business, friends, or anything else, take precedence in our minds over our alcoholic problem. As we go along in AA, we learn to recognize things that may upset us emotionally. When we find ourselves getting upset over something, we must realize that it's a luxury that we alcoholics can't afford. Anything that makes us forget our number one problem is dangerous to us. Am I keeping sobriety in first place in my mind? Meditation for the day. Spiritual progress is the law of your being. Try to see around you more and more of beauty and truth, knowledge and power. Today, try to be stronger, braver, more loving as a result of what you did yesterday. This law of spiritual progress gives meaning and purpose to your life. Always expect better things ahead. You can accomplish much good through the strength of God's Spirit in you. Never be too discouraged. The world is sure to get better in spite of setbacks of war, hate, and greed. Be part of the cure of the world's ills, rather than part of the disease. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may keep progressing in the better life. I pray that I may be part of the forces for good in the world. All right, my friends, so that concludes today's reading. Man, I love that 24 hours a day. Spiritual progress is a law of your being. Try to see around you more and more of the beauty and truth, knowledge and power. I think one of the biggest things that's helped me, does anyone else just ever woke up and you're just in a bad mood or you're anxious for no reason? You can't even put your finger on it. At least for me, I've done everything I always do. I still get up, I pray, I read this kind of literature right here, but I still feel just off. One of the things that helps me the most is I start doing a gratitude list. Instead of pining for the things that I want, I thank my higher power for the things that I already have, or the things that I don't have. For example, I start with the basics. I thank God that I'm still alive, that my faculties still work, and I'm able to walk to the garage and pray, and I'm able to breathe easily. I thank Him for my heartbeat. I thank Him for another chance to get things right. I thank Him for the material basics like roof over my head. And of course, I thank Him for my family. There's no amount of words that can express how much I love my wife and my kids. And I just thank Him for that. And by doing this repeatedly throughout the day, eventually I act my way into the right thinking. And it all starts with gratitude. And obviously throughout the day, I thank Him for being sober. And eventually that little black cloud of anxiety or whatever, where I just feel off, it goes away. It's seasonal. I know it's not going to last forever. So I just fight that little season with gratitude. And I try to be the good in the world for the day. It says right here, today try to be stronger, braver, more loving as a result of what you did yesterday. So this law of spiritual progress gives meaning and purpose to your life. Always expect better things ahead. And I know the big book talks about expectations a lot, but if you expect to have a good outlook, if you expect to see miracles today, if you expect to see the good, and you actively look for it, you'll find it, my friend. And I say you, I mean me. I'll find it. If I expect to see all that's wrong with the world, if I expect to see all the negatives, I'm going to find it. It's all in what I'm looking for. And I love the last part. Never be too discouraged. The world is sure to get better in spite of the setbacks of war, hate, and greed. Be part of the cure of the world's ills rather than part of the disease. I try to be the change that I want to see. On my job, at home. And after all, I can't change others. But I can change me. So guys, that's all we have for today. Hope you all have a great one today. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I am just a drunk. A jolly drunk that is so happy to be here today. And so happy to be alive. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.